Hello, my friend. When it comes to sexual intimacy, women are not complicated at all. Most men just don't take the time to understand their wives and what drive them sexually and how you can please her, how you can understand their sexual desires and how they can get you to become so connected with them on a sexual level that they gravitate towards you. Today, I am going to share 8 ways to improve your sex life with your wife. And don't miss number 5, because I'm going to share how to close the orgasmic gap. Yeah, the orgasm gap. Yeah, most women are not getting there. The statistic shows that more men have orgasm than their wives. And we're going to close that gap. We're going to teach you how to do that. So let's have this conversation. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to the show. I am Dorian, and this is not easily broken. Number 1, women are not complicated at all. You know, I've been married for 31 years, and I begin to realize that women are not complicated. I also grew up with 5 sisters. I'm the only brother among 5 sisters on my mother's side. And let me just say this, that I understand something, that what you call complication or being complicated, I think it's the complexity that you should be magnetized to. You need to stop saying that. You have to remember that the woman came from your loin. When God said it's not good for the man to be alone, the Bible tells us that God put the man to sleep. He took a rib from the man, he created the woman, and then he presented the woman to the man. When Adam opened his eyes and saw this beautiful, gorgeous, amazing, attractive, sweet, delicious, I mean, beautiful Eve, he looked at her and said, "You are bone of my bone, you are flesh of my flesh. I will call you woman because you came out of me." Adam connected with her. There's a connection. See, intimacy is not just about sex. It is about connection. Oh, we're going to talk about that. Intimacy is about connection. It's about connecting on a deeper level. The word intimacy comes from the Latin word intimar. It means innermost. It's about seeing your spouse on a deeper, innermost level. Intimacy. Your wife is not complicated. She is complex. That's a difference. There goes the difference. And her complexity should fascinate you. I'm so fascinated with my wife that sometimes I would just ask her a question about her body. I mean, we've been married for 31 years. In the early stage of our marriage, I ask her a question, menstrual cycle. Every 28 days, her body, her estrogen levels all over the place. I just need to know. I'm fascinated, showing interest in her. You got to be. That should drive you, man, to really get to know who really come. You're connected with her. She came from your loin. Get to know her better. And when you get to know her better, you talk to her about herself and who she is. Listen, my friend, that's the kind of level of interest that you need to have. Women are fascinated with that. Number 2, men and women are not wired the same when it comes to sex. We are wired differently. It is said that a man just need a place to have sex. A woman need a reason to do it. There is a lot of truth to that. Now, it's not set in concrete. It's not something that is just one and done. No, there's a lot of rhythm to that. There's a lot of flow to that. There's a lot of, different dancing style to that one statement there. Because, I can be ready for sex and my wife is not even close or near there. I'm just telling you, there are times when my wife is literally affectionate and just holding me, kissing on me, and I'm ready to take her upstairs to the bedroom, and she's not even there. It is said that a man just need a place to have sex, but a woman need a reason to do it. Oh yes, sex is wired to her brain. Did you get that? And there's a difference between the rhythm and the desire of a man when it comes to sex versus his wife. She is not always in the mood for sex. She needs to create the rhythm so that she can get into the mood. She needs to experience intimacy. I talked a little bit about that. She needs to feel vulnerable. Vulnerability and intimacy lives in the same room. They share the same space. You cannot have one without the other. Hello? Vulnerable comes from the Latin word vulnus. It means wound, which means that vulnerability and intimacy, it puts you in a space where you can get hurt. And that's why protecting her security and making her feel safe is so important to create positive, deep sexual encounter. she has a lot on her mind and she's stressed out, sex maybe is the last thing that she wants to think about. That makes sense to you? Maybe her libido is low because of stress. Maybe it's her job. Maybe it's the children. Maybe it's life. Maybe it's illness. It could be so many different things that is stressing her out, right? But your job is to make sure that you are not creating a toxic environment that she's not able to thrive in and connect sexually with you in. Number 3, get to know her body. Yes, I am amazed that some men don't understand their wife's body. You don't take the time to understand the anatomy and the physiology of her body. Here's a reality. Your wife knows more about her body than you do. Ask her a question. Find out what she likes sexually. Your job is to be creative. Your job is to create love. That's why it's called love making. Because every time you get together, you are creating something special. And God creates you to be a creator. So you need to know what she wants and then you create it. It's not complicated. It's not always easy, but this is something that you have to show interest in. It is about taking the time to understand her body, the anatomy and the physiology, all the erogenous zones, the nape of her neck, her nipples, all these things are what helps to bring her to that ecstasy. Did you know, right, that there's a part of her body that was created only for sexual pleasure? Now, I'm not going to go deep into this because I don't want YouTube to flag this as inappropriate, but listen to what I'm saying. There's a part of her private part, there's a part of her anatomy, right, that was created for sexual pleasure only. That's the only thing that God created it for. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. It is proven to have over 10,000 sensory. I mean, think about what I just said. It has over 10,000 sensory. It is called the clit for short. Again, I don't want to be flagged by YouTube, right? So if this is the case, why don't you make it your best friend? Why aren't you paying attention to it? Did you know that the same muscle tissue that makes the man private part is the same muscle tissue that makes the clit? Did you know that it gets erected just like the man private part? Again, not trying to be flag here, but you get the message, right? Why are you missing it? 10,000 sensory, 10,000, which means that if you just blow at it, she's ready to go. I mean, you have to make it your best friend. Look, touch, I don't care what you do. Make sure that you understand how important this is to her. Whew. God Almighty. When I coach men and we have these conversations, some of them had no clue what I'm talking about. And we teach this in our marriage makeover coaching program. And if you want more information about it, you can actually, I'm going to put the link in the description so that you can book a free clarity call so you can learn more about it. But that's the reality, 10,000 sensory. It is so sensitive that it will pass almost any test that you give it. Yet most men don't realize how important this is. Come on, man. You can't take it for granted. No, you got to get creative. Don't ignore it. Make it your best friend. Talk to her. Oh, yes. I think you should have the bond together that is just unbreakable. Number 4, it's more than just sex. It's how she is treated. If you want to get your wife to really become more sexually charged and more intimate with you, it's much more than sex. Are you creating a safe space for her? Are you the kind of man that your wife loves coming home to? Do you spend quality time with her that has nothing to do with sex? Do you show interest in her outside of the bedroom? It is impossible for you to treat her less than human, minimize and criticize her, call her fat or, complain about her body size and body shame her. And then you expect her to lay on her back for you at night? What kind of game are you playing? Your words create feelings and experience. She experienced what you say, not just what you do, what you say. Hello. Can't be like that. It's your job to create the environment that she can thrive and flourish in. That's what God called you to do. to be a creator. And it's your job to create. It is called love making for a reason, because every time that you with your wife, every time that you get together, you are creating something special. Guys, listen to me. I get fired up about this, man, because we have so much to learn and to really do when it comes to understanding our spouse, to understand your spouse. At 31 years, I think I got this on lock, literally. And my wife knows that I am always a student. I'm ready to learn. All she needs to do is to tell me exactly what she wants me to do, and I'm ready to do it. Hello? I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to go. I'm a creator. As long as it's morally and we're not breaking any biblical or Christian value, man, I'm ready to rock. Let's go. Let's get it on. And number 5, this is the key that I talked about, the orgasm gap. How do you close the orgasm gap? It is said that about 68% of women does not orgasm during sex. They don't. But men, 98% of the time orgasm during sexual encounter. Now, if that's the case, it is safe to say that the orgasm gap was not created by the woman. It's created by men. Now, let me just say this, that I do understand that sometimes women are going through different stage of their lives, premenopause or in full-blown menopause stage, or they're going through illness, or their libido is extremely low. They have discomfort doing sex. There's various reasons that will cause a woman to not necessarily have orgasm, or something is going on in her body, whether it's stress, whether it's depression. All these kind of things can happen. But let's say they're not going through this. Let's say that this is not the problem. This is not their story, right? Then there's things that you need to do. First, prioritize extended foreplay. Some men don't think this is necessary. Some women, they're ready to go. But there's others that it takes time, and don't ignore it, because if they're not fully stimulated, it can be very painful during sex. And so you've got to spend time to really get her going, right? And it is said that typically a woman need at least 10 to 15 minutes, some 30 minutes, just to really get fully aroused, depending on the season of life that they're in, what's going on in their body, physically, mentally, emotionally. It could be a lot of different things, but you have got to spend time to understand that, right? And so it's important to know that you have to encourage communication skills. You have to talk about it. Ask question, does this feel good? And if they say no, ask why, right? You got to know the data, or you need to get the data so that you can make informed decision as to what you need to do to become better equipped to serve her sexually, all right? Number 6, never stop dating. When you date regularly, you ignite the fire, the flicker, the flame, and the desire of sexual intimacy. There is a chemical, different chemicals in our body, right? The brain triggers different chemicals based on things that we are doing. You have the chemical for flight or fight, and then you have that for love, intimacy, all those different things. And so the neurochemical, right, gets involved in lovemaking. And so sexual arousal, it's trigger a powerful cocktail of brain chemicals, including dopamine, and that is the pleasure and reward chemical. Oh yes, oxytocin, that is the dopamine level, that is the bonding, the togetherness, right? And then you have vasopressin. Vasopressin is the attachment. Come on, baby, let's get close. I want to be connected to you. I want to become magnetized to you. Yeah, it creates that kind of rhythm. These create intense feeling of pleasure, making sexual intimacy and sexual desire more achievable. That's why you keep dating. I don't know about you, but there is something about vacation sex. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's just my wife, or maybe it's just us. But please put it in the comment section and let me know. Is it just me? But when we go on vacation, it seems like vacation sex hit differently. I mean, by the time we check into the hotel, we want to carry on. I mean, after we check the room, make sure that the room is clean and make sure that it's non-smoking and everything is the linens are good. I mean, we're ready to go. I mean, we're ready to get it on. There's just something about vacation sex. And you know why? It is because of the environment. Remember, I talk about the dopamine level, the oxytocin, and all of that stuff. It is because your mind and your body is in that zone. Oh my God, man. Talk to me. Number 7, prioritize emotional connection outside of the bedroom. This is really key. It is key. Why? Because sometimes wives think that their husband only pay attention to them when they want sex. You have to prove your spouse wrong in this area. Because if you just wait until she's laying on her back for you to really start to think about sexual intimacy with her, you have already lost her. She'll do it to you or she'll give it to you because of obligation, but her mind, her body, her soul is not into it. And you want to make sure that you captivate all those different entities so that she can have the fullness of you. Did you get that? The fullness of you, right? And so you can't take it for granted. You know, the Bible tells us about that physical connection, that non-sexual cue, and, just spending quality time to really get to know her and understand her. It's a prerequisite, right? It is important for deep sexual desire. And let me just say this, as I'm looking at my notes here, I want you to ask yourself, when is the last time you really listened to your wife? When is the last time you spend time to really get to know her? You spend time to listen, spend time to woo her, spend time to go for a walk and watching movies or just doing things together that have nothing to do with sex. Nothing. Intimate connection begins hours and hours during the day. The non-sexual cue, the touching, the emoji, the helping out around the house. It's a buildup. And then when you hit that crescendo, then she's just ready for you because she feels connected. You help to become that therapeutic entity that allow her to release. The Bible tells us in Genesis chapter 2 and verse 24 that wherefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and cleave to his wife, and the two shall become one. You're one. You're one flesh. You're one. And number 8, pursue spiritual growth together as a foundation. A shared spiritual life creates profound connection. Spiritual intimacy is real. Spiritual intimacy is not focusing on sex. It's really focusing on your spiritual growth, your spiritual connection with God. But when you focus on God, you're getting closer to each other. It is absolutely amazing. I don't know how people don't take their spiritual life seriously. Because 90% of the problem you're faced with in your marriage right now, it can go back to your spiritual growth and your personal growth. And these are 2 key components that we teach in our marriage makeover coaching program. When you pray together, study the scripture together, and discuss how your faith shape your understanding of intimacy in the marriage. Come on, man. It is a powerful thing because many couples find that spiritual intimacy enhance their physical intimacy. Why? Because when you and your spouse are growing closer to God, you often grow closer to each other. The Bible tells us in Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 12, it reminds us that a cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. We do have it here. It is it's the name of our ministry, not easily broken. 2 becoming 1. You are not easily broken. The blue and the white is the wife and the black is the husband, locking arms around each other. You are not easily broken. That's where you want to be, wrapped up and covered by the blood of Jesus. Hello. You see, here's the reality. With God at the center of your marriage, including your intimate life, your bond is stronger. Your bond is more deeper, interwoven, pleated or plaited or knotted, whatever you want to call it. All right, guys? And so that's it. These are the 8 things that you need to know, you need to do in order for you to have a more profound sexual encounter with your wife, to improve your sex life. And notice, it's all about serving. Everything that I spoke about is about serving. Because if sex is about you and not about the 2 of you, you're missing the mark. We always talk about ladies come first. Orgasm, orgasmic explosion, ladies come first. It's not about you, it's about the two of you. And when the two of you come together in a bonding, fusing, synchronizing entity, it creates the kind of relationship. And let me just say this, that, more sex doesn't lead to a better marriage, but a better marriage often lead to a better sex life. And too often, most people focus on what happens in the bedroom. But I believe that if you focus on what's happening outside of the bedroom, it will allow you to have more fun in the bedroom. That's it, my friend. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was a blessing to you. And I would like to hear your comment in the comment section. Let me know which one of these tips or one of these ideas, resonates with you the most. And what are you going to do to add value to your wife in this area? Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, may God bless you, and check out this other video. God bless you. Talk to you soon. Any great.